Hi, Chris Hanna, Mayor of Marion, reporting on this week's General Council meeting at Marion Council. Well, the big one, I suppose, is the fact that we adopted our plan for the next 4 years, including major works like improving the Cove Sports Complex and rebuilding Merino Hall, and many, many other things as well. We also, therefore, adopted this year's budget, and we have reasonably healthy finances. I can tell you that the agreed average residential rate rise was 5.2%, less than the rate of inflation and less than just about every other council in South Australia. Of course, that applies to the hypothetical absolutely average residential home, and most people are going to have something either side of that. So the individual increases may vary. I can also let you know that we approved funding for a whole range of community grants, completely varied in different ways. The Marion City Band, there was a bowling club, there was a radio station. All sorts of people benefited from these community grants, because we know that by spending money with little community groups, they can actually spend that money for the community more effectively sometimes on the ground rather than the big council organisation. So that's why we have those grants. We also approved youth grants, and this is where we've essentially outsourced the provision of activities and services for young people to organisations which specialise in helping young people. We have $120,000 a year over 2 different rounds, which we allocate to those organisations helping young people. We also approved money for the Community Events Fund. We've now set it at $1,000 if your community group is having a community event of some kind. You can apply for $1,000 to help towards whatever it might be. Provision of toilets, fencing, road closure, and so on. So that we're helping community groups have those wonderful events which make life in Marion so much richer and more enjoyable. I can also say that we approved the Achievements Fund. We actually have a fund where we donate $200 to exceptional achievers who may be representing the City of Marion, South Australia, going interstate or even internationally, and we'll just help them out in a little way, because it's very expensive at the senior levels of sport and culture to go and represent South Australia. And we've extended that fund from a $20,000 pool of money to $25,000. Council also took another step towards dealing with the future of the old Mitchell Park Neighbourhood Centre in southern Mitchell Park. The future was always in question after we completed a $16 million amazing sports and community complex in the northern part of Mitchell Park. We know there's been interest from various groups to use that building, but Council has finally decided to demolish it unless the Department of Education would like to express interest in the next 2 months. Now, that is a real possibility because it's a site next to the Mitchell Park Kindergarten. And if there was a desire on the part of the state government to expand the kindy, this is the perfect opportunity. But if they don't want it, then it would be better to have the building returned to green space for the local community, because that was a theme we picked up very strongly in our community consultation initially. In another piece of exciting news, there's going to be a community battery established at Edwardstown. Now, this is an entirely new thing, so I better explain what it is. With the help of the federal government, there's going to be a battery established on council land, and there's going to be a company which buys cheap solar electricity, stores it in that battery, and then it's going to be sold at cheaper prices than usual to 300 nearby public housing homes. And they will save potentially hundreds of dollars each per year. So this is just the beginning. We believe that there will be more community batteries in the future. We're going to see how this works, but it's a very exciting development. I'm standing here today in front of the Marion Cultural Centre, much loved local building and home to the art gallery, theatre and library, as well as the Pancake Kitchen, which is serving as a cafe for the precinct. Outside, we want to make the place more lively and more suitable for large gatherings like markets or concerts to be held occasionally. So we have a plan to remodel the whole area. One of the things we found out is that the little bit of road as you go through from the Marion Cultural Centre through to Bunnings and Westfield is actually community land, and it's not actually technically a road. So to make it officially a roadway, we're going to engage in community consultation. I don't think there'll be a huge problem because people have been using it as a road, a popular cut through, in fact, for decades. So that's something to watch out for if it's a part of the world that you travel in. Finally, I want to celebrate the art that we have on Stobie poles and utility boxes throughout the city of Marion. Did you know that over the last 3 years, we have painted some 170 Stobie poles and utility boxes, bringing a bit of life to local streets, and we have found they are so popular. For a very small budget, we're able to liven up the streets and give an outlet for some wonderful local artists. So look out for those colourful Stobie poles next time you're out and about. That's all for now.